Hey, what's going on, YouTube? So we're back at it. It is Monday. What does that mean? That means we have Monday Night Football coming at you. We have the Giants going up against the Seahawks. But before we get into what plays we're gonna have for tonight, let's talk about how last week went. So, if y'all saw my video about Taco Tuesday, you know we threw down on some Taco Tuesday plays. So we did Asia Wilson over in 21.5 points against Dallas, and we also went CJ Stroud and Nico Collins over in passing and over in receiving yards. Now this is becoming one of my favorite combinations to keep on betting every single week, just because that connection is there. CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, they are letting it loose. We thought the Texans were going to be using Dameon Pierce a lot this year, but no, they're actually letting CJ Stroud throw it down the field to Nico Collins. He is doing a phenomenal job as being the wide receiver one. I do think that Nico Collins is going to remain the top receiver there over Tank Dell. So, Tank Dell's great, but I don't think he's going to take over Nico Collins' job anytime soon. Just because it's Nico Collins' third year in the NFL does not mean he didn't have the potential every single year. He just hasn't had consistent quarterback play, which now he does. All right, so keep locking that in every single week until it fails. I'm telling you, just like I was doing with Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, locking those in every single week until it failed. Guess what? After 3 weeks, after 4 weeks, it did fail. We went 3 for 3 initially, and then the fourth week, Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins didn't hit their over. It's all right. It is what it is. It happens, right? Every single play is not going to hit every single time. But when you find really good patterns of receivers and quarterbacks that keep on working, just keep hammering it until it doesn't work, right? So that's what we're going to keep on doing with CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. All right, so that play hit. I want to go over a play that didn't hit, right? Well, almost hit. We got plus $12 back, so we got our money refunded just because I don't know why we got that money. I think Jordan Addison ended up being a healthy scratch for some reason, or he was in the game for one catch. But as you can see here, his over didn't hit. He got one target. He actually didn't even get a catch. He only had a target, 0 catches, nothing, right? Goose egg. So we want to go. So we got the $12 back on that. I guess we got lucky, but it would have been a loss technically because we went for the flex play. So we obviously wanted 4 at least 4. Actually, which we did get 4. But you can see here, Evan Ingram, in the morning he hit. Stephon Diggs, Tua, Josh Allen. Jalen Waddle, man, he was a little over 20 yards, or he was about 17 yards, 20 yards away from actually hitting this. It didn't hit. If you saw that game, the Miami Dolphins they were not the Miami Dolphins that we saw last week or the week prior, but it is what it is. We're going to get back on the horse, right? But look at this. I want to make this perfectly clear. We did $12. We invested $12 into this play, and we invested $15 into this play. Well, guess what? We got $75, and we got refunded that $12. Did we win both? No, but we actually had a pretty good week, in terms of these YouTube standards where we're doing, low units and low betting. That's how I want to do, right? I want to take y'all with the small bankroll and help you increase that bankroll. And that way in the future, you can start betting $50, $100, $200, $300 once your bankroll increases, right? So those are the 2 bets that, hit and miss for this weekend. Now, what we're going to bet on for tonight, I'm actually going to give y'all 2. We're, of course, going to go with Geno Smith and Daniel Jones over in their passing yards. The reason why we want Daniel Jones over in passing yards, because the Seattle Seahawks are simply not good at defending the quarterback. They allow, they're probably, I believe, top 10 in maybe even top 5 in quarterback fantasy points per game, and as well as top 10 or top 5 in letting those receivers go off every single game. This is why we're going to take Daniel Jones over in passing yards, and we're also going to take Geno Smith over in passing yards, because Geno Smith. So this is the tricky one, right? It's up to y'all if you want to leave Geno Smith out of here, because they can literally just pound the ball with Kenneth Walker. I'm really hoping they don't do that. I'm hoping Daniel Jones and the New York Giants make it a much more competitive game and don't let the Seahawks run the clock out with Kenneth Walker. But we're going with the assumption that Daniel Jones and the Giants are going to bring the heat, and they're going to make it a competitive game against the Seahawks, right? So we're going to Geno Smith and Daniel Jones over in their passing yards. And, of course, our strategy is quarterback, receiver. You got to match those to give you the best outcomes you could possibly get. We're going to go ahead and lock in Darius Slayton over 40.5 receiving yards just because those Seahawks cornerbacks are not good right now. They are just being so fluid when it comes to defending the pass. So definitely lock in 40.5 receiving yards over with Darius Slayton. You know, if you're not feeling Darius Slayton this week, go ahead and lock in Darren Waller over in yards. But I believe Darius Slayton is the better call, just because if you saw Darren Waller in his last game, kind of lost my trust there a little bit. But ooh, excuse me, y'all. It is what it is, right? Now, DK Metcalf. So we're also, because we got Geno Smith, we gotta lock in one of the receivers. We're gonna lock in DK Metcalf over 68.5 receiving yards. This is going to be a really good one. Like I said, we are doing this with the assumption that the Giants are actually going to bring it tonight and give the Seahawks a competitive game. Okay, so Geno Smith, Darius Slayton, DK Metcalf, Daniel Jones over in yards, and we're gonna lock in. I hate having change in my thing, so we're gonna lock in $10.60 there. Okay, so I always double check Geno Smith, Darius Slayton, and DK. So just to give y'all some perspective, Darius Slayton in his last game here, he got 32 against San Francisco, and he got 62 against Arizona. You want to know the difference here between these two games? San Francisco's pass rush obviously is crazy. Really good defense, right? But their pass rush is nasty. This is why the Giants struggled this against the Cowboys, and this is why they struggled against the Giants. But look, against a pretty weak pass rushing defense, look what they do. He went over in 62 receiving yards against the Cardinals. Not just because it's the Cardinals, just because Daniel Jones was not getting pressured, so he had time to throw that ball, right? So let's hit Darius Slayton over in his receiving yards. And then, so I want to make my point back with Daniel Jones. You see here, again, if we to pick him over right here. So against a good pass defense, against a good pass rush, 137 and 104. Against a lackluster pass rush, 321. And guess what? The Seattle Seahawks have one of the worst pass rushing defenses in the NFL, almost non-existent. They are getting to the quarterback very, very little bit of the time. So definitely take advantage of that lackluster pass rush of the Seattle Seahawks. So that's why we're locking in Darius Slayton and Daniel Jones. Okay, Daniel Jones is going to have time to throw the ball today, so he's going to have time to find his receivers. So let's lock that in. I'm excited for this one, man. Like I said, this past Sunday wasn't the greatest, but I'm ready to make some money again. $10.60 just because I don't like change. All right, lock that in. Cool, and then we're going to go ahead place a new entry, but we're going to clear this out first. So this next entry we're going to give y'all is, now I'm going to make this one a little faster. So we're going to go ahead and lock in first touchdowns. I love Kenneth Walker. Man, Kenneth Walker. So look at this. Okay, he had what? 0, 2, 2, and then 1. Oh, sorry, in this month or this season, 0 touchdowns against the Rams, right? But that was a weird game. And then 2 against Detroit, 2 against Carolina. If they could give Kenneth Walker, whenever the Seahawks have the ability to have Kenneth Walker get a touchdown, they do it, right? 2 and 2 in his last 2 games. Freaking, he's going to get it. All right, so we're going to go over in touchdowns there. And then, of course, we're going to go ahead and lock in DK Metcalf over in his receiving yards, just because I think he's going to have a phenomenal game today. And then, of course, if you're feeling a little crazy, all right, lock in Daniel Jones over in his passing yards, all right? And then, let's see here. I like that, man. I mean, DK Metcalf, you can see here, all right, 68.5 receiving yards. He got 112 and 75 against Carolina and against Detroit. So, not the best. He got 47 against the Rams, but everyone knows how that game went. So lock that in. Look, the other one I was considering adding to this play is Darren Waller, right? If you lock in Darren Waller, that gives you 4 players. Again, $10 to win 100. That is totally up to you. The reason why I don't want to do that is this dude burned me last week, and he burned the YouTube play last week. I don't want him to burn the YouTube play again. So guess what? I'm going to leave Darren Waller out of it. I'm going to go ahead and just hope that Daniel Jones throws over 230.5 passing yards. DK Metcalf gets his. Kenneth Walker scores a touchdown, and all we need is look $10 to win 50, or you go double down $20 to win 100 because we only need 3 picks. It's always that one last pick, right? So definitely lock this in. Let's have a good day. Let's run up the accounts and let's make some money today. And you know what? I'm gonna lock this in before I close this out. So we're gonna go ahead and put $20 on this, 2 units on that, just because it's 3, and I still want to make $100. So everybody take care. I will see you. Hopefully I get a video out for y'all tomorrow. Taco Tuesday is gonna be great. I will get a video out for y'all. So let's go ahead and we're gonna lock in a taco. Sounds ridiculous, I know. We're gonna lock in a taco and then match it with some player props for Sunday football, maybe Thursday football. We'll see what's available. All right, everyone, take care. Good luck with your plays today, and let's make some money.